Hello, everyone, and welcome to our first AMS session on X-Space, hosted by obviously the Real Estate Metaverse team. I'm your host. I'm the CEO, COO of REM project. I'm Cass, and also joining me is our CEO and co-founder Callum Shian. Callum, welcome to the show, and thank you for joining us.
Thank
Um,
you very much, Kat.
so
Welcome, everyone. Hi.
Guys, today's discussion is all about real world assets, or RWA, how blockchain technology is transforming the real estate industry. And it is an exciting and rapidly growing area, as you guys know, of crypto world. And we are going to explore what it means and why it matters, and how it's unlocking the real opportunities for investors and property lovers all around the world. So, guys, without further ado, let's straight get into it. Callum, you ready? I'm gonna give you the
Yes,
first word.
yes,
First,
indeed.
as you're aware, the first and the foremost, Callum, let's tell our viewers and what are the real world assets and why are they becoming such a major trend in the blockchain industry.
Yeah, first of all, thank you very much for having me, Kaz. Now, given that this is our first podcast, welcome everyone. We were doing, as Kaz mentioned, we were doing, all that REM buzzers in our YouTube channel. So make sure you subscribe and like that YouTube channel so you can get the latest information. We do that every weekly basis. And, that's very important stuff as well. So here in the live sessions, you get this. A chance to actually talk to us. So thank you very much, Kaz, for asking that specific question. What is RWA, guys? This is a very important question that we need to answer ourselves. Look, we REM, we work in the RWA space, and we want to educate you on our RWA, which is real world assets. Real world assets, guys, is the name states it all. Real world assets is basically something tangible, something you can see, something you have been working on all these years, and we want actually digitalize them. So that's basically what real world asset means in terms of blockchain. So what is a real world asset? Basically, can be a commodity like gold or even silver or anything else like that. It can be real estate. What we do in REM in real estate metaverse. You can go and check a real estate metaverse.io to see remmeta.io to actually see the facts, what we do, and everything is there. Basically, guys, what we do is actually link those to a security token. So this is where actually we would highlight the security token factor and how important that is. Basically, another token, which is like a utility token, like REM, is linked to a specific commodity or specific asset in the real world. That's what we're talking about, right? So basically, in simplifying saying, digitalizing the real world assets that we see today is called real world assets in blockchain terms. Right, Kaz?
Thanks, Callum. That's great insights. That's a great point you take to cut this conversation. So, for the people who's listening, let's go and let's explain to them how the blockchain is bridging the gap between the digital assets and the real world investments. I think that's if we can do that, that's probably really great.
100%. So I did mention in my previous question that you asked, Kaz, that that real world assets are basically a linkage to the actual assets that we talk about, like
Mhm.
silver, gold, or something like stocks, or even real estate. Well, what's the blockchain this edition of here? Like, why can't we just digitalize that? Can we create a digital copy? Yes, definitely we can do that. Let's take, for example, like where we in the jurisdiction in Australia. There was a time where Australian license being digitalized, right? In New South Wales, they have digitalized and they kept it in a storage where it was kept it in a cloud format. What happened once it was actually stolen? Those IDs were stolen certain times because they managed to hack a specific location, a specific storage. Therefore, hackers can hack, right? Now, that's the security part we're going to talk. Basically, when we talk about linking blockchain to these physical assets with an RWA, with real world assets, we're actually talking about these real world issues that it comes up with it. So, digitalizing, obviously, digital copy can be created without a blockchain. So, why do we need blockchain? Blockchain is partially, mainly about talking about security. Think about the security implications. Those identities were stolen. Those identities were digitalized and put it into a digital storage, right? So if one person wants to hack that storage, there we go. We have hacked the whole identity of all these things. You think about the same thing about, say, physical gold, physical silver, or even real estate deeds. What are we talking about? We're talking about actually tapping into someone else's property. That's where blockchain comes in, guys. Think about that. Blockchain, to actually basically hack a blockchain is really hard. It's like hacking all the computers that's linked to validate all the validation nodes, which we call miners or minting process in stake pools. If we talk about stakers, right? These are very hard to actually. You need to actually basically hack almost half of the blockchain to do that. Can we do that? No. So you see security factors there. Then traceability factors. Anyone can trace in blockchain because you can go to the ledger, you can find out in blockchain, specific blockchain ledger, and find out what's happening in those transactions. It's very open, it's very transparent. These are the qualities that blockchain usually brings to this sort of asset classes. And of course, when it's legalized properly in specific jurisdiction, it can be also used in government formats, in transactions, and everything else as well. So you see, these are the important factors that we can conclude that how blockchain comes into place in digital assets, digitalizing specific assets, and calling it a name called RWA or real world assets. Yes.
So that's good. This good explanation there as well. So Callum, let's take this conversation a little bit further. So let's go and talk about a bit of accessibility in the real estate market and tokenization. So what we're thinking so far is the real estate is always been or been and seen as one of the most valuable but least accessible investment class, as we all know, but mainly because of the high entry cost, complex paperwork, and limited global access, I would think. But with tokenization and blockchain, that obviously it seems like it's changing fast, right? And we always talk about that. Our previous segment in YouTube, even that, especially Gunit talking about property was. But how do you see, Callum, this new model making property investment more accessible to everybody, everyday people around the world. Like main thing, like those futures you talk about, the fractional ownership, rent vesting. Shall we talk about that a little bit?
Definitely, definitely. Look, this is a very good concept that REM, actually, Real Estate Metaverse, our company
Mm.
came up with. Basically, we call it. There's a fractionalization in blockchain. There's rent vesting concepts in property. We bring that together, called fractional rent vesting. So, what is fractional rent vesting? Again, we are trying to bring the real world asset component to blockchain, crypto world, and to the traditional markets. Let's talk about crypto market, how this is working actually. So, a crypto investor doesn't want to spend as much as they want to spend. They can spend as little amount as $1,000, $2,000, $5,000 in fractions in buying certain exposure, to giving basically diversification to the crypto investor. They can go and invest in property market via fractionalization, right? So fractional rent vesting means you get a portion of the rental income as well. Now, looking at the traditional markets, how does a traditional owner fits into this picture? Think about this. A fractured traditional owner, a traditional investor who doesn't want to invest in cryptos or anything, we can bring them to this blockchain world as well by saying, you know what, you want a piece of the property. Look at these in these places where it's like New York, Japan, Tokyo, or even in Australia, Sydney. Very expensive properties, but you want to get into the market as a new owner. How do you do this? Well, you can get a piece of a property, which is liquidation. We can discuss that later on in basically. But you know what? You can be a part of the whole process, but by investing small amounts, 1,000, 2,000, 10,000 into the market. And guess what? You own a portion, a fraction of a property, which gives you rental yield by rent vesting point of view. You don't need to own your property just to get an exposure to your property. You can rent while you invest into certain fractions. And get what? You get rental income plus capital growth. So these are the components with the traditional investments like property, but we're
Yeah.
linking it to certain ways of fractionalization, which gives ample of flexibility to get into the market. So our purpose here in property was and in real estate metaverse REM is to make sure that people gets an opportunity to get into the property market.
Thanks,
Right there.
Kams. That's given a lot of clarity to the viewers actually what the traditional real estate and REM and the tokenization of the real estate market syncing with the blockchain technology. So that's good clarity there, Callum. Thank you. So, Callum, I think the next question I want to go is a bit about all the microcap projects currently in the market. So what we see in a lot of merging projects under RWA category, you've probably seen it, there's multiple, right? But many of them still micro cap, but packed with innovation and potential. And we saw that. We saw a lot of AI technology being used in those ones. But let's say from your perspective, Callum, what separates a strong RWA project from the rest? And what are the signs investors or our retail investors should look for when identifying long-term value-driven project in this space?
100%.
Over to you. But actually, Callum, I want you to do your magic. Maybe you share some graphs with us because I know you're really good on that stuff too.
Yeah, I like to share something with
Let's
you as
cover
well.
the fundamentals, then you can share the graph. Yeah.
Let's talk about, let's answer the question first, and let's go through the market so you guys can understand as well. I'll just go
Yeah.
glance through that, so everyone here gets some value on that market aspect, the crypto market aspect as well, so you understand. I like to share my knowledge. Look, let's look at this. Let's look at this now. For example, one of the main questions that the questions, if you break it down, this question is basically says, okay, what are the actual microcaps? Now, bear in mind, these microcaps, we say microcaps because you understand these RWAs or real world assets is not yet in place. It's like talking about AI in 2016, 17. We say, oh, hypothetically, AI is going to be like this. We had bots talking to people, but that doesn't make any sense. If you ask a question, they'll guide you to Google, right? They would not give you an actual answer. You'd had certain AI projects would say AI project, but they didn't deliver as promised, right? So we were looking at a bit of a shadow, like a mist there, and we were thinking AI is going to be like this in the future. Come today, 2024, 2025, you understand the importance of AI, and everyone's talking about AI. Bear in mind, REM is also an AI project. If you think about it, we do have AI analysis in our project embedded in as utility. So you can, you know what, you can go and get the best outcome, find the exact market. Right now, coming back to the point of RWA, real world assets, actually links with regulatory formats as well. In jurisdictional laws, jurisdictional understanding, and regulatory understanding as well. So it is important we understand that that jurisdictional needs will be fulfilled. For RWA or real world assets to come up in the ladder, what needs to happen is basically regulations need to be born. Regulations and jurisdictional laws needs to be passed in these regards. And this is very crucial and very key. If someone's listening here, they need to understand that this is an emerging industry, not an industry that's already here. And we have to be grateful in a way. We're not talking about specific administration, but this administration of US has taken certain steps to legalize crypto and blockchain, which is really crucial for industries like REM to real estate digitalization, or any other assets like gold, silver, anything to be digitalized. It needs to have a clear indication. We all know XRP, SEC, the SEC, the legal battle. Why? No clarity in the legal format. Simply putting it there, Cass. The important thing is you need to have certain clarification of legalities. What is a utility token? What is a security token? What is a crypto project? Let's have a proper idea about where we stand. Then we can understand the actual format of what RWA is. So talking about, coming back to the point, is that you can see these small microcaps like REM. The REM token is a microcap, and it is a utility token because it's got specific utilities that we utilize, like the fractional ownership, fractional rent vesting. So basically, talking about it, you are investing now for an emerging market, which is called RWA, real world assets. There's a lot of platforms that support real estate, so different RWA projects. It lists the RWA projects, these days there are there. And then you have gold, silver, property, like REM deals with specific RWA called property, right? Or real estate. So these are the things that needs to be looked into. Now, I'd like to share my screen to show you guys some actual crypto market as well. Let's go in here and then I'll share my screen. Okay, now guys, you can see my screen, can you?
Yep. Yes, I
Very
can.
good. Beautiful. Now, here, guys, you can see my screen. This is the actual crypto market, right? We talk about RWA. Obviously, we need to talk about crypto market. You can see Bitcoin hovering around, say, 115, 110, and 120, about that line. As you can see here in a small scale. Ethereum, again, hovering around in the same space. You know what? This is a bull cycle, guys. These red flags doesn't mean anything. It's just another day. You're looking at a bigger picture, so always focus on that bigger picture. But whenever there's red, that brings opportunities, guys. Red means buy, and a buy, right? Green means sell, sell, sell. I always say if you go to our REM REM market update, you can see basically we talk about this. Look at this big picture of Bitcoin. This is a monthly chart of Bitcoin USDT, guys. You can see this is 2018, 17, 18 cycle. Look at here and look at this development from 2018, 17, 18 to 2020 to 2021 cycle here. We are up here. And I always say when it touches here, please try to get some money out. DCA sell, guys. Dollar cost average sell always wins up here because you don't want to go up here, and once it falls, You don't want to cry out saying, "Oh, I missed out the whole thing." So make sure you grab some money out here. Then you can reinvest when it's down out here. Whenever it's down right here, you can do reinvesting. Excuse me. Now we go up here. We go to the Ethereum chart again, guys. Now Ethereum chart always shows this, but we haven't gone up from the all-time highs above. So we've got a lot of potential here, lot of potential, right? Look at this. So same with all these coins from high cap to low cap to micro cap. Well, you know what, guys? Talking about micro cap, look at REM. This is a 1 day chart. You can see it has gone up for it's two. You can double up in these sort of things. There's so much fluctuation happening in REM. This is not a financial advice, guys. You can always go to MEXC and then look at the REM chart, REM USDT chart, and you can obviously get some bunches up here, bundle up here of REM, because you know what, guys, as I always show you guys, you go to the weekly chart, or let me try to go to the weekly chart here. Bang, all-time highs, which is almost $1. This is the movement that we're looking into. You don't need this sort of a flash. Microcaps, the beauty of microcaps is this will always push through. This is a great opportunity coming from here to get your stack of REM. All right. Now, this always gives opportunities, guys. Now, I give different advices. Bitcoin, when it goes up, sell. Sell, guys. Sell something, get cash out. Come on, guys. All right. It is something you can utilize right down here. Ethereum, what did I say? Hold. I didn't say sell, I said hold, right? So, guys, make sure you use hold. REM, microcaps, what do? Buy. Simple. Sell, hold, buy, right? It's a very easy
Simple, very simple.
strategy that I say, and if you do that, you get the differences. Now, yeah, so I'll come back to our chat actually, Kaz. Basically, what I feel like talking is that, guys, market is there always. You can utilize that market, get that get knowledge as possible. What you invest now is in projects like REM or an RWA project, real world asset project, is a total investment, not just for this bull cycle, but of course for next cycle as well, when all these jurisdictions, all these legal entities actually comes up and say, yes, we recognize these sort of things, yes, you can do tokenization properly, and these things happen, you're in the right move, guys. It's like AI. Yes, Cass?
Beautiful.
Yeah,
Thank you, Callum. So, Callum, that's a great point you have made. Like, this is the main question. I think the retail investors these days having an how to pick the right project or how to pick, because like we said, there's millions of projects around. Some projects are, is there. A lot of projects are you don't even see after a few months. You know what I mean? So to get their confidence up, that's why the more mainly lot of even our community asking those questions. How can we find a good project to invest? So it's very good information that you share, Callum. Thank you very much. Now, talking about the transparency, Callum. So the next thing I really want to touch base in this AMA is pretty much about the transparency. So as you know, so the one thing really stand out in today's crypto landscape or around all the projects in demand is the transparency, right? I think we both agree on that.
correct.
We
Yes,
are very highly agree in regard to that too. So a lot of people are tired of no-name teams come and goes and broken promises and nothing there.
that's
Now
true.
we see, now we don't, right? So they want projects that are really open, visible, active, with their communities. So Callum, let me put this one this way. So how important do you think the transparency and the team visibility are in a
Mm.
building the trust, especially in RWS sector because of the legal issues as well?
100%, guys. That's a very, very good question. Specifically, we are not a meme project. Let's look at REM as an RWA. Let's get an example of REM, right? We are not a meme coin, obviously, right? There is a utility token, however, called REM utility token, right? Which is in MEXC. You can go and purchase that. But you know what? What is a utility token? If we talk about a utility token, it needs to have specific utilities, which is use cases, right? And visibility plays a big chunk of things as well in this specific thing. Now, if you go to our website, you see the main three directors in this project, right? That doesn't mean we don't have any other people in this company. We do have all this company. We can put everyone in there and to show you guys a big picture, come up there and then disappear tomorrow, right? That's not the problem here. We are here discussing about actually what is an RWA project, how it works. You know whether we have that knowledge or not. We don't need to put our profiles in your face and say this. But you know what a genuine project is basically sharing that information, educating its ecosystem and the clients, making sure everyone plays a part here, and of course we are here visibly to show you guys about what we do. Now, that's a great example of a genuine project, right? We have been in the industry for a long period of time. Since 2016, we've been there. So when you do your research, you need to find out not just the project, but who's involved in that project, right? What have they done in this thing? Can you find them in YouTube? Can you find them in different sources, different websites? Have they done anything before? Of course, like myself and Kaz, for example, we have done projects in RWA in different jurisdictions, and when it comes to commodities as well, right? So we've started when there's nothing called RWA was there, but we were planning about RWAs with other companies as well. Specifically in the Zengate project that we've done, right? So basically, we've been there in throughout this time doing things and getting that exposure, doing that, and now we're giving that important knowledge to you guys, and not only to the community, but also we managed to actually focus on some important utility or important use cases that actual problem would be solved. For example, getting exposure to the real estate market, one of our issues, right? Why does, for another good example would be why an owner would go for one investment property, not 10, because of the headache. So let's reduce the headache. Liquidity can be an issue as well, which we can discuss thoroughly later on. All right. Well, that's the trader's dream. Let's bring that up there. So you know what? Fixing up actual issues plus transparency in the sense talking to you like this when it matters and being there is very important. So that's how you basically differentiate an actual good project from its other counterparts, right? Yes.
Beautiful. Thank you. That's correct. 100% agree, Callum. Thank you. Thank you for clarifying the transparency. Like we said, that's the most important thing for the most projects that will decide the make or break of the project, in my personal opinion, right? So guys, overall, we in the last half of the program. But before we go, let me take a couple of questions from our community, from our live audience, and have some. So let me pick. So some questions we already answered, but doesn't matter. I'll pick few and let me forward it to Callum now. So Callum,
Yes.
one of our viewers asking us at this, is there any integration or partnership plans that will enhance REM's utility?
Oh yeah, definitely yes. So utilities are use cases, and basically, what are the utilities we are figuring out? Basically, we are trying to work with, example, XRP. We are in the communication with XRP Ledger in regards to tokenization of real estate. So even though we are our token utility token is in base layer, we can obviously, because we are an EVM, we can obviously tap into any other blockchain as well. So that's a partnership that's coming up, right? And we are still in the negotiation and talking to different parties on this. There are other parties as well. If you go to our YouTube channel, you can see about Tea Garden concept that we have created. That's a very good utility, which we actually contacting with different countries, and specifically Sri Lanka, in bringing up the tea garden concept. That's a beautiful. It's about land, right?
Yeah,
Tea
yeah.
estate, and we talk about tea estates, fractionalization of tea estates. That's something we talk about. We're also talking about some proper development organizations in Australia in regards to fractionalization of buildings, hotels, and so forth. So yes, These are the utilities that comes to REM, and in future you can see something happening. So these negotiations, these talks needs to happen properly. We want to have a solid foundation, not just show off something with a handshake and then next thing you know we're not there, right? So that's not there for us. We want solid foundation, and when you see that, you would see a pump in REM. It doesn't matter mid cycle, off cycle, bull market, bear market, we don't worry about that. We would make sure that REM utilities would actually link with REM token and add value to REM token, because we would have liquidity pools. Now, guys, when you buy REM, you can always stake in the utility pools. Now, with utility pools, we would have a company utility pool, which every transaction would take off from the market and go on. It's like basically putting into a null wallet. It's like burning. So, it's like a burning mechanism, but it would be in a null wallet, and we grab it from the market itself. So that will it will create a supply shock. This is what utilities is supposed to do. Utilities needs to add value to the token of REM. Utilities need to say, okay, purchase me from an REM token. There you go. These sort of things are there, right? Okay. So yeah, that's that.
No, beautiful. No, that's answered that question. So thanks, Callum. So there's another. I'll grab another question. One of our viewers also asking, what role does the community play in the future development of RF? Actually, Callum, if you don't mind, I'll take this question.
Definitely,
So,
yes.
um, so God, that's a great question. Actually, the community plays a massive role in the future of REM. From the day one, our goal being to build this project with the community, not just for it, right? So your feedback directly shapes how we develop the ecosystem, whether that's through our AMAs or Telegram or YouTube updates. We stay transparent and active so everyone's part of the journey. But in simple terms, guys, the REM community isn't just watching the project grow, but you are helping to build it. So that's the answer for that, very very briefly. But you can tell, you hear straight from the management team on that. So Callum, I might grab because of the time, I'll grab one last question from the viewers.
Yep.
The next one is asking, how does REM plan to attract new users beyond the crypto native community?
Oh, that's a very good question, actually, Cass. As I mentioned, REM is not focusing on just crypto communities and crypto. We are planning to bridge these traditional markets to the crypto market or the blockchain. So therefore, our other arm of Propertyverse actually working solidly in bringing those formats in linking them. And then the next path would be to digitalization of with a security token of REM deeds. For example, there was deeds in REM ecosystem, right? And therefore, we will not push people to actually get that, but we would also always want to solidly make people understand they can invest in fractions. So we would go with the theory of letting people know that they can get fraction of properties, but we would not bombard them with this theoretical knowledge, this digital theoretical knowledge about crypto, how it works, and all these things. Let's first of all take this concept out that this everything in crypto space is a scam, right? Let's try to take that off from their minds and make sure that give them comfortable that we're here to support them in getting into the real estate market, right? And I think that's for everyone else as well, anyone in the
Yes,
crypto world, right? So
exactly.
that's one of the things, right? Cass? Yeah.
All right, I think the time. Maybe one last question, Callum. I'll grab one question, even I'm happy to jump into this question. So one of our viewers asking Shana, how does REM plan to maintain value and prevent inflation? Very good, excessive volatility. So um, I'll jump into this one. So it's again a very good question. A lot of people ask us this one. So maintaining value and stability is a big focus for REM, right? So we built real world utility into the token through its connection to tokenized real estate, which is naturally tied to demand for tangible asset rather than a hype, right? So you guys all know that. So on top of that, our controlled token supply and staking mechanism and future burn programs are designed to limit inflation and support long-term value. So instead of being just another volatile crypto project, REM is actually backed by real use cases and sustainable token monsters. Do you have anything to add on top of that, Callum? It's
No,
pretty
I
much
think
we
that
covered.
that sums up a lot, actually, Cass. That's a very good answer for that question. I think I agree with you on that matter. Yeah.
Beautiful. All right, so guys, we are, like I said, we are in the back end of this AMA session now. So before we close down, I got one last question for you, Callum. These questions asked from in the previous our segments and all that. So looking ahead, right, where do you see the RW space is going from here, Callum? So especially when it's come to transforming the global real estate industry.
Yeah, guys. So look at this, guys. The real estate market goes up $1 trillion or more than that. It's a
Yeah.
huge, huge, huge market, right? It's like gold market. It's a huge market. What we're tapping into, right? This is what people need to understand. Bitcoin say on certain $1 trillion market, and we're happy. Oh yeah, the market's going sentimental is beautiful, few $1 trillion. We're not tapping into the crypto market here, guys. We're not just tapping into that. For example, today's global market cap is $3.758 trillion of this is basically the crypto market. So if someone asks, oh, you're tapping that. No, 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 we're not tapping into just that. That's part of what we tap into. RWA taps into all the other markets as well, gold, silver. You're tapping into these other markets that crypto would never tap into. So you see this potential. If 3 trillion, 3.7 trillion is crypto market, gold market is more than that. Silver market is far more than that. And real estate is far more than that. You need to understand we are tapping into those markets as well, inclusive of crypto market. So you see the bigger picture here. So you are not just getting into this market, but you're getting exposure to other markets through RWA or real world assets, guys. This is the importance of getting into these sort of projects, right?
Brilliant insight, Kellen. Thank you very much. So, thank you. Thank you to everyone who tuned in today, guys. We really appreciate you guys with us today and asking all these very important questions from us, mainly. So, this is just the beginning of our RW discussions, guys. It's the first of many. So, please follow us on our REM token page on X. Twitter, follow, subscribe, and ask away the questions. And also myself, Callum, we do a segment called REM Buzz on our YouTube channel. We're trying to do more like 2 to 3 segments per week. And please join those segments or go to those segments. Ask away the questions on our socials. We are try our best to answer all of them questions. Actually, not most. Even some questions are a segment itself, so Callum can do a proper specific segments, those ones. So far away, whatever you guys have. So yeah, guys, thanks again, everyone. And till we see you next time, goodbye from myself and Callum, REM team. Have a great weekend. Enjoy and stay safe. See
Goodbye,
you.
guys.